So today we're going to give Caribbean cruisers 10 tips on what to expect in Alaska for the first time. So as you may know, we're from Florida and go on a lot of Caribbean cruises, so it was a really big change and a lot of things we expected and some things we didn't expect while we were in Alaska. So sit back and hang tight, we're at it. So bring a bathing suit, shorts, and flip-flops. So there's really nice days in Alaska where you may want to go in the pool or the hot tub. And let's face it, having flip-flops where you can just throw them on and go around the ship if you need to or want to, it's hot in the ship, it's warm, it's not cold out. So it's nice to have them. And really, you know you're going to want them on the way home. Don't forget to bring those flip-flops. You probably only need one pair though, so don't overpack. Next up is warm weather clothes to go home in. It may be cold in Alaska, but it's probably not back in your home state of here in Florida for us. You may have a long layover or even an overnight on the way home, and those fleece pants that are great on the cruise may not do so well in warmer weather. If you're concerned about it being cold when you're at the airport in Alaska, so don't be afraid to throw a tank top or even some shorts in your carry-on. It'll be great for flying home in, even if you have to change at the airport halfway home. So in Alaska, don't forget to bring a raincoat with a hood. I've got to say, it rained pretty much every day, and you don't think about it, but Alaska's a rainforest, at least the parts the cruises go to. So you will get a little bit of rain. It's not going to be enough to interrupt your day or really be a problem at all, but it'll be enough that you're glad you have that coat. Alternatively, you can bring a puffer depending on how waterproof it is. But if you had to pick between the two and maybe it's a little bit later in the season, I would definitely bring the raincoat and maybe wear a sweater underneath if you need. So if you're like us and you're coming from Florida, I highly recommend bringing a winter hat and gloves. It's not so much the cold just walking around, it's we're on ships so much of the time, whether the cruise ship or excursions on smaller boats, where you've got that really cold wind chill with the damp air. So you'll be really happy you have those hat and gloves. So next up is a thin fleece that's really warm for its size. It's so nice to have that tight-fitting fleece or base layer that can fit easily underneath like a raincoat or a puffer and really keep you warm, that you'll really appreciate having it. And on nicer weather days, you may just wear that fleece out and about. So don't forget to bring it. So I'd also make sure you really like that fleece because you're going to be wearing it a lot, way more than you think you will. I may or may not have worn that same fleece every day, every other day, almost all day. You'll want it. Next up is Global Entry. So Global Entry is kind of like TSA Pre, but it adds US Customs as well, so you can kind of go to the front of the line for that, and they just send you right on through. So you may not know it, but when you cruise from Vancouver, you're going through customs a lot. And all of the customs for the US actually takes place in Canada. One of the great things is when you're getting on the ship, you actually have to go through customs at the port. And you can skip a 45-minute line, maybe to even be an hour. It was a long line. You can just walk right up to the front and get right on the ship. So totally worthwhile. Don't forget to bring the actual card though, as you actually do need the physical card if you're getting on the ship with Global Entry. A lot of times the airports, they don't care if you have the card or not, but getting on a ship, you have to have the card. We actually keep our cards inside of our passports so that we've always got them. You never know when it's going to come up and you can skip the line, so always best to have it. Chapstick. So if you're from Florida like us, you may not have owned chapstick in years. So going to the cold, dry air in the Pacific Northwest or even Alaska, it's like your lips chap instantly getting off the airplane. So make sure and have it. You will not be disappointed that you have it. Skip the jeans. So we thought we would wear jeans every day, and I don't think I wore my jeans one time. The weather is such that with just a little bit of rain, if your jeans get wet, they'll never dry. And then we found our fleece pants, or just a lightweight hiking pants, were so much more comfortable for getting around. And you might think like nice jeans for the dining room. No, it is so casual. You can wear pretty much whatever you want to the dining room and no one cares. You can save the space and bring more comfortable clothes than those. And your excursion clothes from the day are typically just fine for going to the dining room. And oftentimes the excursions run all day, So it's not like a Caribbean cruise where you've got time to go change and get ready for dinner. Oftentimes you get back so late, it's almost time for dinner right then. So you kind of pick up dinner on the way back to your room. Skip the jeans, you really won't need them. I'd also call out that formal night is way more casual than on Caribbean cruises, so bear that in mind. So pretty much every cruise line has their one fancy party on board that cruise. On ours, on Celebrity, it was a white party. So everyone wore white for this big 2-hour long party going on the pool deck and down inside the ship in the atrium. So make sure and plan accordingly if you don't want to be the only one not wearing white. Forgo the balcony in favor of another excursion. I know that goes against a lot of the other advice you might see about you have to have a balcony in Alaska, but I'm gonna tell you, you don't go out on the balcony all that much. There's only a couple of times we really did, and that was when we were seeing the glaciers. But you can do that on deck. So if I think the question is, if you're gonna take the helicopter to the glacier, and that's your big dream, but it's either kind of that or the balcony, I would totally do the helicopter. Now that said, if you can swing both, do both. You won't be disappointed with a balcony. The one big advantage of a balcony though, is you know what the weather's gonna be like. You can just step out there briefly and kind of get the feel for the temperature of the day. So that does beat having to go up on deck and find out. All right, I got one more good one for you. You don't have to worry about your phone. Because Alaska is in the US, unlike the Caribbean, your phone will just work. And that is so nice.